You're about to discover something about yourself that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Every home that you've ever loved or hated was decided by a room that you haven't seen in years, your childhood bedroom. I'm Adam Stinespring. I'm a realtor here in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I have shown thousands of houses, and I've seen this pattern play out so many times. It's insane. And in the next few minutes, you're gonna have a light bulb moment about why you make the housing choices that you do. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. But first, close your eyes for literally just 1 second. Picture your childhood bedroom. You got it? That image that you just saw is controlling your life in ways you couldn't possibly imagine. Neuroscientists call this spatial imprinting. So basically between the ages of 6 and 12, your brain is literally mapping what is safe based on your bedroom. The ceiling height, the window placement, even which way the door swings, all of it gets hardwired into your nervous system as home. Think about it, the room that you learned what privacy meant, where you figured out what yours felt like, or where you discovered the world was safe, or where it wasn't. Dr. Susan Whiteborn from UMass actually studied this. She found that our spatial memories from childhood are some of the strongest that we form, more than faces, more than names. Why is that? Well, because space equals survival to our brains. And your first sustained space was your bedroom. Your brain spent years memorizing every shadow, every sound, every escape route, and now, even decades later, it's still using that as a template for when you're searching for homes. Here's where it gets weird. So I had a client, we'll call her Sarah, and she rejected 47 houses. 47 beautiful homes, perfect neighborhoods, great prices, but every single one, as we would later find out, had a bedroom on the left side of the hallway. Finally, when I learned about this concept, I asked her to describe her childhood home, and she went quiet. Well, it turns out the left side of the hallway, that's where her father's room was, and he was not a good man. Her adult brain was literally trying to protect her from a threat that hadn't existed in 30 plus years. Once we figured this out, the next house we saw, we made sure the master was on the right side, and she broke down crying. She said that it felt like she could finally breathe, and we were under contract the next day. But here's the plot twist. It does work in reverse, too. I had another client, we'll call him Mike, and we were touring homes with him, and it was a little bit weird because he would say, oh, open concept, pass, or oh, this gorgeous great room, nope, or this $1 million modern farmhouse, because he had plenty of money. He's like, man, it feels like a warehouse. And then we walk into this 1970s colonial tiny home with separated rooms, and his eyes lit up like Christmas morning. I mean, I'm talking the wood paneling, popcorn ceilings, rooms so small that you could literally touch both sides with your hands. And Mike is standing there saying, this is it. This is the home. I'm blown away until I yet again asked this question, and it turns out Mike grew up in a house with 5 siblings. So chaos was everywhere, noise was bleeding into every single space, and his childhood bedroom was literally a converted closet, literally like Harry Potter. And yeah, it had a door, it had a lock, it had 4 walls, but it was the only space where he could control his environment. So his brain equated walls and small spaces with safety, barriers with peace. Open floor plans felt to him like being exposed and being vulnerable, like it was back in the chaotic living room with your 5 siblings playing WWE. So if you think I'm making this up, let me just blow your mind with some questions. So do you prefer bedrooms upstairs or downstairs? Really think about it. Because if you said upstairs, let me guess, your childhood bedroom was upstairs, and being above everything kind of makes you feel removed from the chaos. What about, did you have a corner room or a middle room? Because corner room people usually had one growing up, like 2 windows, 2 walls, and a little more control over their environment. Did you have a window facing the street or the backyard? Street facers were usually the ones who were watching for dad's car, but backyard facers usually had a little bit more escaping into their imagination. These answers you gave, they're not preference, they're programming. I've seen this play out in so many different ways. Like small childhood bedroom, you're probably chasing square footage like it's oxygen, and walk-in closets probably make you emotional. If you shared a space with siblings, then you probably need some doors, like lots of doors, and privacy is non-negotiable to you. You probably hate Jack and Jill bathrooms too. Basement bedrooms, this one's interesting. You might hate ranch-style houses that don't have a basement without really knowing why. Your brain probably wants to be kind of tucked away and not exposed all on one level. Did you have a room near the kitchen? Then you either love or hate the idea of being near the action. And there's oftentimes no middle ground. And sadly, a lot of people probably relate to this one. Was your room at the end of the hall and you needed to see threats coming? Then anything near an exit or stairs probably makes you feel uncomfortable. But here's what nobody's talking about, and here's where it gets dark. Because sometimes we're not chasing comfort, we're actually chasing chaos. So I had another client, we'll call her Jessica. She kept buying fixer-uppers. I mean, like straight up disasters, foundation issues, mold, you name it. But she'd fix up one, she'd sell it, and she would just buy another disaster even though she'd made tons of money. And it wasn't really an investment thing because she told me multiple times that wasn't what it's about. And then one day she mentioned, just kind of offhand, that her childhood bedroom had a leak in the ceiling for 3 years. She literally had a bucket in her room that took care of the water, and she'd have to go dump it every once in a while. So I'm sure you're sensing a pattern here. Her brain decided that homes meant problems to solve. And if everything's perfect, something is probably going wrong, and I'm only safe if I'm fixing things. So she wasn't buying houses. She was actually buying her childhood trauma on repeat. And this goes, believe it or not, even deeper. Psychologists have actually linked this to attachment theory. So if you have a secure attachment style from childhood, then you probably have reasonable house preferences. You can compromise and adapt pretty easy. If you have an anxious attachment style, then you probably obsess over every single detail and everything needs to be perfect before you feel safe. If you have an avoidant attachment style, then you might resist settling anywhere and you're probably just keeping one foot out the door, and you might even be the person who's just going to rent forever because owning feels a little bit too permanent. And then finally, if you have a disorganized attachment, then your house preferences probably seem super random because home may have never had a consistent meaning to you. Okay, this is great, Adam, but how do I break free from a room that I haven't seen in decades? Step one, we're going to map your triggers. We're going to notice your body instead of just looking at a checklist. If your chest is tight in ranch-style homes, are your thoughts racing when you're in a colonial, or do you feel an instant calm when we're in a Cape Cod-style house? Then this is probably your childhood talking. Once we have that, we separate the past from the present. That corner bedroom that makes you anxious, where your brother was quite chaotic, he's not there anymore. And those low ceilings, they're not there to trap you. In that bedroom on the left side, the master, your father does not live there anymore. The third thing we do is we interview your inner child. I know it's crazy, but seriously, ask what would make 8-year-old me feel safe right now? And then ask, well, what does 38-year-old me actually want and need? Oftentimes, these are different answers, and it's important to know them both. And then the fourth thing we'll do is, if this is a possibility for you, bring someone who's known you since you were a child, because they're going to point out patterns that you're probably blind to. Like you walk into a house and he's like, dude, this looks exactly like your parents' house. And whether you feel calm or anxious might be a good indicator for you. Here's the thing. Once you understand this, you'll never be able to go back because you'll walk into houses differently. You're going to understand why some spaces make you feel like you want to run and why some make you want to cry for joy. Why that perfect house on paper feels completely wrong, or why that weird house maybe somehow makes you feel like home. You're not crazy. You're not picky. You're just human. And humans are shaped by their spaces, more than we probably realize. Your childhood bedroom may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. You can love open floor plans even if you grew up in boxes. You can choose a ranch style even if safety meant upstairs for you as a child. You can pick that left side bedroom. I promise it's safe now. When you're ready to find a home that fits who you are now, not who 8-year-old you is, let's talk. And drop a comment and let me know what's one thing about your childhood bedroom that you'll never forget. Maybe it's good or maybe it's bad. I read every single one and reply, and I think we will all gain a lot of knowledge and will probably be surprised or maybe not so of the patterns that will arise when we read them. And if this video just explains something that you've probably felt before but couldn't quite name, then share it, because someone else has probably been in the same boat, and someone you know is probably house hunting right now through the lens of their 8-year-old self. Let's bring them back to today. I'll see you at the closing table.